God bless you, YouTube family. Today is June the 30th, 2015. And Ezekiel and I both spent time with the Lord tonight. And he did have something to say, which I'm basically going to paraphrase for you. It's not a verbatim word, as we're used to having, but it is basically his heart, I would have to say. I know some of you have gotten a little antsy because the Lord hasn't spoken to me in that particular way for about a week now. Well, about a week ago, I was being corrected for something, and that lasted for 3 days. But after that, the Lord asked that we offer our sacrifices of not hearing from Him for the lost souls in these final hours. And I know this is a very painful sacrifice for all of us. He's been comforting me every night. I've seen him, he's held me, and he's made his intentions really clear to me. And he spoke a word to Ezekiel about this very thing, and confirmed it through the scriptures. And he had already spoken that to my heart. I knew that he was withholding consolations from us because he's trying to gather in as many as he can at the last hour. And this is a sliver from his cross. So basically, this is the calm before the storm right now. And he's asking us to bear with him as he gathers our sacrifices together for the unsaved. I know you're all frustrated with him not giving you a verbatim word, but shall we deny him this sacrifice by grumbling and complaining? Please offer this to him as a willing sacrifice. He's squeezing the last drop out of the grapes. If you will remember, not so long ago, he warned us that things would be intensifying before the rapture, and that we'd only make things worse by surfing around on the net and looking for the imminent signs of his coming. All of us were infected with this curiosity. I know I certainly was. But he told us that this restlessness would only intensify insecurity and cause us to question what we've known in our heart to be true. Once you've discerned a thing, that you know it's the Lord, it's not healthy to go around questioning and listening to different arguments to see if it's really true. It's much healthier to stay in a place of peace and a place where you're not totally focused on yourself and on the rapture, but on a peace that allows you to reach out to the people around you that still need a touch from him. So if we become obsessive compulsive about the timing of the rapture, constantly looking for imminent signs, listening to this one, listening to the reason of that one, and back and forth, we're going to be chasing our tails. And a person who's chasing their tail doesn't have very good balance when it all falls down around them. We're going to need to be standing strong when this hits. Because, as far as my understanding is, for the last probably 13 years, there is going to be war. And the day the war starts is the day the Lord is coming for us. But it's going to shake everyone to the very core because it's going to be so horrendous, so widespread, and so sudden. And he's asking us to be some of the ones that are so focused on him that when this hits, we will be a pillar on this earth until he takes us out. That we won't be running around like everyone else, crying that the sky's falling in. We'll be sound and steady. It will be able to lead people to Christ in those final hours and explain to them, this is written, this was going to happen, this has been prophesied for hundreds of years. And we'll have a solid reality to share with them because we will be solid in the Lord. But if we're running around on the internet looking for different viewpoints and listening to this and listening to that and checking the news, we're not going to be steady on our feet. And that becomes our reality. And when that crashes and crumbles, and by the way, most of it is false information anyway, when that crashes and crumbles, we're going to come down with it. So the best thing is to keep our heart and our focus on the Lord. Okay, so he asks us not to do this because it would weaken us to be surfing around on the net, and we would not stand when everything begins to crumble around us. Rather, he wants us to keep our eye single and on him, holding fast to his promises. The idea behind that is that we've spent probably, months now discerning and listening to his voice and receiving peace from these messages. And I think because of that, we should be steady in the fact that the Lord is indeed speaking to us and not go looking for other voices that's going to knock us off our foundation. I have an excerpt here from the May 11th, 2015 message where he calls for focus on him and away from the world, and I think it's appropriate for me to read part of it to you. There are plenty of excellent ministers out there, too, that have very solid histories who do not agree with the pre-trib rapture. Now, this is my viewpoint. I can't defend my stance because it came from the Lord after many years of discernment, dreams, visions, words. I can't deny what I know I've been shown over and over again. So this is why I teach discernment, because many men have many things to say, and a lot of what they say contradicts one another. But if you know Jesus and you know what God says, then you have the answers that you need. Another thing to consider is that not everyone is going in the rapture. Some are called to stay behind, and it could be that the Lord has asked them to prepare because they're going to go through the tribulation. They may interpret that as being a post-trib rapture because that's their reality. The Lord hasn't told them anything different, but that they're going to go through the tribulation. But in fact, it may very well be that the Lord hasn't clarified that for them, that they're staying and the bride is going. I don't have any other answers for those ministers. All I know is that when Miami falls, Jesus is coming for us. That's my reality about the rapture. Okay, this May 11th message begins, "In one day the world will change. Those who have invested their lives in communicating on the internet, the news, Facebook, YouTube, telephone calls, all forms of communication, will all of a sudden be left barren and empty as the world they know it comes to a standstill, and they are isolated from one another. And that moment our only reality will be God. And if we have not cultivated that relationship with him, we'll have no reality at all, other than what authorities offer us to lead us blindly into bondage to an ungodly government. If you've lived by the dollar, you will fall by the dollar. If you've lived by vain entertainments, worldly ways and communications and curiosities, you'll be stripped of your reality. And then when you're offered those comforts back, you'll do anything to establish a sense of security by having them returned to you. But at what a cost? What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his very own soul? So many will lose their souls in that hour. They'll do anything to have their comforts and their reality returned to them, setting their Bibles right next to their checkbooks. Jesus is trying to prepare us for these moments so we'll stand in him and not be totally disoriented and freaked out. We have prepared our hearts for this moment. We've cultivated our strength, not in communications outside of ourselves, but communications interiorly with God. And guys, even if you don't hear his voice, his presence is very steadying inside of you. And you can rest in that. He said he dwells in us. You can believe that, and you can rest in it. He alone is our strength, while the rest of the world is reeling in utter chaos, not knowing up from down. We will have the peace that passes all understanding while that's going on. He'll be at the helm of our ship, directing and guiding us. The seas may toss violently, but with Christ at our helm, will sleep peacefully in the back of the ship, just as Jesus was in the storm. So I guess what I'm asking you is to not begrudge the Lord this shift of focus in your life. He's asking this for a very real and necessary purpose. Now, this is still part of that May 11th message. Not only for our wedding day, but to keep you standing when the rest of the world has collapsed in chaos. So be of good cheer, press in with God, place all value and emphasis in your life on Him. And when the world falls apart, you'll be standing secure in the promises of God. And that's the end of that May 11th message. Now, I just want to say this much. A couple of people have expressed consternation that the Lord hasn't given me a verbatim message. He has given me a message. He's let me know that He wants to use His sacrifice of not receiving a message for gathering souls together at the last minute, and that He wants me to put out the teaching on discernment, because this is going to be needed so desperately by those left behind. And I've been trying to teach this all along, and it's a little bit unsteadying to me that I've been trying to teach this, and still some folks are still almost, addicted to getting a message from the Lord every day. And that's not healthy, guys. It's not healthy, and it worries me, because I've been trying to teach you how to get your own word from the Lord and how to feel secure in His presence. So it makes me wonder if I've done my job right. You know, when you get upset or when you're afraid or insecure. So I'd ask you, please, use the tools that I've given you, and that the Holy Spirit has given you, and that the Lord has given you. Use those tools to steady your ship whenever you feel threatened. That's another reason why I was so strong with the Bible promises, is because there's so many promises there under the heading of fear that you can glom onto and you can just meditate on, and you can just cause all that fear and worry to leave, as well as the binding prayer addresses fear. So please, as I continue to do what the Lord has asked me to do, to finish giving you the Bible promises teaching, and I have another one on the heels of that if time permits, if we're still here, please absorb those teachings and start applying them to your life. Okay? And if you have any issues with the readings that you're getting and you're confused, post it in the next video, because I read all the comments in each current video. And that way I can get to you and help you discern. And when you post things in the comments, it's wonderful, because everyone gets to see it. And that helps other people who are dealing with the same issues and the same struggles. They see that and they say, oh wow, he's got that problem too. Let's see what Claire or Carol has to say. Because I have that problem. I mean, that's how they think. So we share in this. All of us together share in this. So steady as she goes. This is the calm before the storm. The Lord is asking for the sacrifice of not hearing from Him for the sake of gathering these souls together that are right on the brink of being saved. I love you all dearly, and we're praying for you. Pray for us too.